Today we're taking a look at the Precision Pro R1 Rangefinder. Now, Precision Pro is claiming to have reinvented the rangefinder. What could you possibly do to reinvent a rangefinder? Well, turns out it's a lot. Let's get into it. Okay, if we take a look at the Precision Pro website, some of the new features we're gonna see right off the bat, it has My Slope, Wind Assist, GPS distances, and Find My Precision Pro. The one key thing that I want to point out is these Bluetooth symbols. Bluetooth is going to activate all of these functions, and that's what's new this year with the R1 Rangefinder, is that the rangefinder will hook up to your phone via Bluetooth. So some additional features that are inside the R1 Rangefinder is it has a rechargeable battery, pulse vibration technology, a magnetic cart grip, and an external slope switch. Okay, now that we know what Precision Pro is telling us is new, we might as well get this thing out of the box so I can tell you guys what it looks like and how it feels into my hands. So if we get this out of the box, we are going to see, I imagine, just some literature. Oh, the first thing we need to do is download the app. So that's the first thing it's telling us. We can't use all these new features if you don't download the app. Precision Pro has their own app for iPhone and Android. So if you get the R1, I suggest you download the Precision Pro app so you can start using these new features. We'll put this aside. We have a case. This case is new if you've had Precision Pro in the past or other rangefinders, that it's definitely a little bit bigger. I would say it's maybe 2 inches bigger, and I'm guessing because the rangefinder, the R1 itself, is, when I look at it, it doesn't look bigger than any other rangefinder. So I'm not sure why it needs a bigger case, but let's kind of get into it here. I'm gonna put the box and literature away for the time being. I have already used this on the course a couple times, so I can give you some real feedback on what I noticed on the course. Let's take a look of how it feels. So it obviously is this gray and green color combo. Pretty neutral colors, I'd say. The green has been kind of the standard signature color for Precision Pro. If you saw my previous review on the NX9 Slope, it's a very similar color combination. The NX9 was black, R1 is gray. Right away, I noticed the slope switch. This is what will turn slope on and off. If you're new to rangefinders, slope is going to calculate the distance in the slope variants that you're playing. Sometimes a par 3 says, 143 on the card. You shoot it, says 145. With slope, if you're downhill, might be playing 135. So that's the advantage in using slope. If you want to turn it off and on, it is this button right here. The next thing that I see is the magnetic cart mount. This thing is awesome, especially if you're riding. You can take it out of the case, slap this right on the cart, and it'll stay on your cart the entire round. The magnet is quite strong, so if you play a hilly course or you have a lot of bumpy terrain, this isn't gonna fly off of your cart. It's a very strong magnet, and it's a feature that I love, and it's kind of becoming an industry standard on the higher model rangefinders. The other thing I noticed on the rangefinder are 2 buttons. The biggest button closest to the eye hole is what you're going to use to get your readings. When you want to shoot the pin, that's the button that you're going to be pressing. This second one is a mode function. Overall though, it looks really good. I like the way that it holds in my hand. I find the thumb cutout is awesome. It's actually improved a lot since the prior generation. The NX9 Slope was a little flatter, and I find that this cutout just fits awesome into my hand. Overall, I think this thing looks great and it holds awesome as well. The one last thing that is new to the rangefinder is this little slip right here. This is our rechargeable port. So there's no more batteries in this Precision Pro R1. If you've owned a rangefinder in the past, you know that it takes a little CR2 battery. They're those small little fat batteries. No longer in the R1. It does come with a charging cable that when you're done your round, all you gotta do is just plug it into this port. I'm gonna get into the functionality of this a little later on in the video. Now that I've told you what this looks like, what it feels like, let's get into all these new features. So what's cool about the R1 is that it appeals to every type of golfer that I know. It's so easy to use if you're just a weekend warrior and you want something to just point and shoot and give you the distance to the pin, no problem. It's also really good for those super analytical golfers that want every number, every factor from the wind to slope to weather, front, middle, back distances. It's good for those guys too. So what do I mean by that? I want to talk about My Slope. So my slope is something that is customizable to you, the golfer. Precision Pro is gonna give you number ratings based on your specific data. So what's really cool about the R1 is if you take it to the course, you wanna hook it up to the app. The app is gonna find what course you're playing and it's gonna start giving you GPS distances on that course. You can use the function button and it'll tell you the front, middle, and back distances. It might say 135 front, 150 middle, 165 back. Then you can shoot the pin and it might be 153. So that's your exact number. Another reading it could give you if you are using the My Slope is it will take into account the wind. So it's gonna use the GPS on your phone to find out where you are in the world and what are the current weather conditions. Let's say it's a 25km/h wind. It'll pick that up in the app and it'll adjust the number in the R1. That is a super cool function and it's something that I haven't seen in any other rangefinder. I'm sure a couple are coming around, but it's the first one that I've personally seen. Really cool feature. Another thing about My Slope is when you get in there, you can enter the club data for every single one of your clubs. In turn, it'll start recommending distances for you. So it wants you to go from driver all the way down to the lowest club in your bag. In the app, you can mix and match what clubs you play. So for me, I have a driver, 2 hybrid, 3 iron, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitch, gap, sand, lob wedge. It wants data for all of those. So what it wants your spin rate, it wants your ball speed, and it also wants your launch angle. Now, unless you're a crazy person, chances are none of you know what those numbers are off the top of your head. This is where I find it kind of difficult or a little bit of a challenge to upload your My Slope data because what you really need is a launch monitor. So if some of you have never hit on a launch monitor, you're definitely gonna need a launch monitor to get all of this data because you can't just guess what your ball speed is or your spin rate. So here's a couple ways for you guys to get your club data. You can go for a club fitting at any professional fitting facility. They will have a launch monitor. Just tell them that you just want to get all of your numbers, and I'm sure based on the place, they'll either charge you for a fitting, or if you're gonna buy a club, you can get all this distance. You really want to write it all down. You have to do this for every club from your driver to the lowest club in your bag. That's the biggest challenge so far that I find in using the My Slope, that you need to get all of this data, and it's just not something that you're gonna know off the top of your head. So once you have all of this data into My Slope, when you do use the rangefinder and you're hooked up to the app via Bluetooth, it'll start customizing numbers for you. Every golfer is different. So let's say you hit a crazy high ball and it spins a ton and you're into the wind. Your number is going to be different than someone who hits a low ball flight with low spin, making it a fully customizable rangefinder specific to you. It's kind of like having a caddy in your bag. I briefly talked about the wind assist. Now, there's no wind compass inside the Precision Pro. It is picking up the wind data from your phone based on your location. I'm not 100% on the accuracy of this because there's been so many times where I look at my weather app at the golf course that I'm playing, it says that it's raining and it's blue skies and sunshine. So take it with a grain of salt that the wind reading might not be 100% accurate. It's just picking up the data from your phone based on your location. So I hope that kind of makes sense. If some of you guys are new to the channel, my name's Brandon Cubitt. I run New 9 Golf and I do a lot of reviews just like this. I do golf vlogs where I take you on the golf course with me. You can see how I play. And I also do some lesson series where I'll bring on coaches to try to just make you guys better golfers. So if you haven't already, smash subscribe and like this video. It definitely helps out the channel. Since this does hook up to GPS and it hooks up to your phone via Bluetooth, that will activate the Find My Precision Pro. I've left my rangefinder at the golf course a handful of times. With the Find My Precision Pro, it'll actually notify you if you leave the course and it says, hey, you might have forgot your rangefinder behind. You can quickly turn it back and find it. Or if you get home, you can't find it, you can open up the app and find out where on the map your rangefinder is. One of the main reasons I think I've left my rangefinder at the course before is because of the magnetic cart mount. When you leave this on the cart and you're done your round, you go pack up your bag. Sometimes for whatever reason, this is just the last thing that I remember to put in my bag, especially if you've had a couple too many beers, it makes it that much easier to forget. Now, a lot of you probably won't believe me that you're gonna forget this at the course. You'll say, Brandon, I'm a very responsible golfer. I don't forget anything at the course. Well, that's easy to say because a couple of my buddies did the exact same thing to me. They finally got a rangefinder with this magnetic grip, and now I'm the one saying, hey, don't you want this To take home with you your rangefinder that's magnet strapped onto the cart, it'll happen, trust me. Take this thing with you, you'll thank me later. So one of the coolest features I wanted to talk about was the Precision Pro app itself. It's one of the coolest functions. Oh, hold on one sec. Hey, Tiger? Hey, I'm just doing a review, I'm gonna have to call you back. Yeah, no, it can wait. No, I'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, thanks, okay, bye. Sorry about that, Tiger Woods, he wanted my opinion on something. So as I was saying, the Precision Pro app is actually awesome. That if I wanted, I can drag my finger to anywhere on the hole and find out distances. I can also fully customize it. So since we have all of our club data in it, I can say I'm gonna hit my driver. It's gonna start tracking all of my distances, all of my shots, my best and my worst. It's gonna track a whole bunch of data. So I think it's awesome that Precision Pro offers such a very good course app if you purchase any one of their products. So keep in mind everything that I've just talked about, from the My Slope, Wind Assist, GPS distances, these are just added features on top of using this for what I use it for, which is shooting the pin and getting distances. Since I've used it on the course, I do find it very accurate. I compared the R1 to 3 different rangefinders. I compared it to last year's NX9 Slope. I compared it to this year's Bushnell Tour V5 Shift, and I also compared it to the Bluetees Series 3 Max. It was within 1 to 2 yards of all of them. So from an accuracy standpoint, I would 100% trust the distance that I'm gonna be getting from this. When I look at the optical, it has a nice little circle, and when it shoots the pin, there'll be a smaller circle inside of that. That's one of the things that I do like, that I find it gives me kind of a bigger target to hit at the pin, and then once I hit it, it goes even smaller. And to verify that I did hit the pin, it'll vibrate. So just a really cool function, so I am very confident in the yardage that you're gonna get. Overall, like I said, if you wanna just shoot pins and get numbers, I recommend it. If you want all of the added stuff from the My Slope, the Wind Assist, the GPS, Find My Precision Pro, it's awesome. Like, you get a ton of value. And how much is this thing? Great question. This Precision Pro R1 is about $320 Canadian or $250 US. That's about half the price of like a Bushnell Tour V5 Shift with more features. So overall, I think this thing is awesome value. I would 100% recommend it. But there's a but. So the only thing that I personally am not in love with is the rechargeable battery. If you're someone like me and you are a member at a golf course and you have club storage, you're gonna have to take this home with you every single round. So for me, I find that a bother, that I don't wanna have to take my rangefinder home, plug it in, then take it to the course. If I forget to take it home, this is only gonna last me 18, maybe 27 holes with one battery charge. So if I forget to take it home and I'm on the course, I pull up my rangefinder, I'm gonna be pissed that my rangefinder is not working because I rely on this for every single one of my shots. But if you're someone that plays all around, your clubs are always at home, they're coming home with you, and you're gonna plug this in beside your cell phone, like, it's not a big deal. So depending on the golfer that you are, this may be a really good function, or it may be a fairly not so good function. I've reviewed another Precision Pro product, the Precision Pro Ace Smart Speaker. That thing has the battery that will last, no joke, 6 full rounds of golf. I have no idea why the same battery is not inside the Precision Pro R1, but I wish it was. Hopefully Precision Pro is listening and they can upgrade the battery or the charge life for the next model. I think there's a ton of functions. I think they have definitely reinvented the rangefinder. I just wish that this battery lasted longer. That's the only knock I'm gonna give this rangefinder. Would I buy this? 100%. I think it's an awesome rangefinder. I've reviewed so many rangefinders on my channel. I would consider myself a rangefinder aficionado. Thank you. I'm kind of a snob, and this did impress me. I'm not a super analytical guy, so the My Slope, Wind Assist, all that stuff didn't necessarily wow me. It's not something I've relied on in the past, but potentially it's kind of like a new car. Now you have a new touchscreen and you have dual climate control. You got heated and cooled seats. I'm sure once you go there, it's hard to go backwards. So I'd be interested in your feedback. If any of you have tried the Precision Pro R1, I want to know if you like it. I've used it for a couple rounds and so far I am impressed, but I haven't gotten through all of my club data just because I like to shoot it and go. And for that, I rely on it. Thanks again for watching this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll check in with you next time.